Today on Rock the Park.
Yeah! Look at that, dude. Look how much you can see from up here.
Jack and I are trekking high into the Rockies on a wild and windy backpacking adventure.
Backpackers have had to actually go on their hands and knees in order to not fly off this mountainside.
But getting there will be a real challenge.
I'm trying to keep my eyes on the trail. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
To up the stakes, we discover that we're not alone.
Look at this. That is grizzly bear fur.
It's a stark reminder that Montana's wilderness is as wild as it gets, and it all starts now.
Dude, wake up. What? I heard something outside.
I'm Jack Stewart.
And I'm Colton Smith.
We love the national parks.
Oh my gosh.
It's all about packing up a car and just doing it. Just hitting the road.
Our goal is to visit every national park in this country.
And when you go off the beaten path like we do,
There's no telling what will happen next.
wow, ready for the time of your life?
Get set to rock the park. If you like to get away from it all, Glacier National Park in Montana is one of the most inspiring places I know. That's why it's one of our favorite national parks.
We went to college not too far from here and spent a lot of weekends hiking in these mountains.
But even after 4 years, we barely put a dent in the more than 700 miles of trails they have here. On this trip, we intend to change that.
All right, get the sign.
All right, let's do it, man.
Glacier National Park is located in the northwest corner of Montana, where the Rocky Mountains cross into Canada. One of the highlights of the park is the epic Going to the Sun Road, which winds for 50 miles through the mountains.
The entire road is only open for a few months each summer, but it's well worth the wait because the sightseeing is totally wild.
Oh man.
More than 60 mammals and hundreds of species of birds make their home in Glacier. But instead of seeing them from the car, we hope to get even closer because we'll be traveling under our own power. I could come back to Glacier a million times because this park offers something new every time I come here.
One thing I'm nervous about, bears. It has this sense of beauty, but at the same time, it's got a sense of danger as well.
Glacier's rich ecosystem has barely changed since the time of Lewis and Clark. Grizzly bears are the most famous residents, and we're likely to run into some. So we've stopped here at the Apgar Ranger Station to meet with Kate Kendall, a bear expert.
Kate, it's good to see you again.
Oh, it's great to see you.
While I was a college student here in Montana, I was lucky enough to document Kate's grizzly bear DNA research.
No one knows more about the bears here than Kate.
Like most of us, bears like a good back rub, so they often scratch up against trees. In her pioneering research, Kate and her team collect the fur that's left behind. They're able to identify the sex, diets, and even specific bears by studying the DNA in the fur, all without ever drugging, collaring, or disturbing a bear.
So how many bears do we have in Glacier?
We have approximately 330 grizzly bears and over 600 black bears.
Wow. Why is it that the black bear population is so much larger than the grizzly bears?
Black bears are smaller, and so they don't need as much food, and they have a higher reproductive rate.
We want to see some bears while we're here.
To be honest, there are bears throughout Glacier National Park. I mean, there isn't any place that you go in the park that doesn't have grizzly bears and or black bears.
And to prove it, Kate and her team also use remote cameras to study the bears, and the results are often hilarious. Oh yeah, nothing better than a good back scratch. A little bit higher on the right, there you go.
Sometimes the bears get wise to the cameras and come in for a closer look. And they're not the only ones caught on candid camera. Check out this pack of black wolves. Wolves used to be on the federal endangered species list, but have sufficiently recovered in Glacier, so they have been delisted here.
So we have proof positive that the park is full of animals, but we need to be especially alert for bears.
The big key is to not surprise them at close range. So if you're making noise, they'll get out of your way. Bears really do want to avoid people.
He's pretty good at making noise just anyway.
I happen to be a loud person, so I've been told.
What you don't want to do is run away, because that sparks kind of a automatic cat and mouse pouncing situation.
We would be the mice in that situation.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
It's been great to catch up, but it's time to hit the trail by ourselves, where we have no doubt Kate's advice will come in handy.
Coming up, hey bear! We've been told to keep our distance, but that isn't always easy.
Are you kidding me? It's like 20 feet away from our tent.
We're in Glacier National Park, about to set off on a backcountry hike that will test our endurance and our newly found knowledge about bears.
So I'm really excited. For the first time ever, we're gonna backpack in Glacier. And we've been here like a million times, but we've, for some reason, never gone out into the backcountry and stayed out there.
It's gonna be us against nature. My lungs are starting to kill me, and that's really what backpacking is all about.
Staying safe is all about preparation, so we're checking in with backcountry ranger Pat Hogan.
Colton, how's it going?
If you like hiking, if you like getting out into wilderness, this is really kind of a destination spot. We've got hikes that basically start in the prairie and go through all these different life zones until you get up into the alpine.
The trail will take us almost 3,000 feet up and across 3 mountain passes.
We need to be on our toes during this 2-day hike, keeping our eyes peeled for bears and other wildlife. But we also need to make sure we leave this wilderness exactly the way that we found it.
I think one of the big things, and you've probably heard the cliche before, but take only pictures and leave only footprints.
We drive a Subaru, and the company has a long-standing partnership with an organization called Leave No Trace, which provides practical guidelines on how to enjoy the outdoors responsibly. The 7 principles are simple, but to the point.
Plan ahead and prepare.
I've got all of our emergency supplies.
Travel and camp on durable surfaces.
The ground is still gonna be hard, but we've got 2 distinct spots that are close together.
Dispose of waste properly. Leave what you find.
I'm gonna guess these are either mushrooms or some type of fungi. I think we should leave them alone.
Minimize campfire impact. Respect wildlife.
They told us not to go near the whales.
And be considerate of others.
We're on it.
Ooh, it's a little heavy.
Yeah.
To the trailhead. To the trail.
The Pitamakan Pass Trail is the start of a 19-mile route. We want to get to the Continental Divide at Dawson Pass, nicknamed Awesome Pass, about 11 miles into the backcountry.
For us, it means it's time to start practicing Leave No Trace and really get into this.
We're walking in the middle of the trail and avoiding the edges so we don't damage the vegetation. We're a mile above sea level, and it doesn't take long for the altitude to take its toll.
Yeah. Whew. Man, so the trail we're looking at, camping at Old Man Lake. It's about 6 miles with 1,500 feet of elevation gain. 6 miles? Not bad. 1,500 feet? Kind of bad.
We're making some progress on the trail, but at the same time, alerting the bears that we are out here. Hey, bear! Hey!
Glacier National Park has the highest concentration of grizzly bears in the lower 48. We're definitely not alone out here. We gotta be on our toes.
Grizzlies are the largest bear in the park, and even though they have a mostly vegetarian diet, they are territorial. So are black bears. We need to be careful not to startle any kind of bear.
So we actually just had a group of guys pass us that saw a bear up trail about a mile or 2. Look at this. You can actually see that right in here, that is grizzly bear fur.
Oh, this is one of those rub trees.
It's actually kind of a message to other bears in the area. They'll come up, rub their back, and then you'll be able to see how tall the bear actually is.
We're impressed and ready to keep moving. We still have almost 4 miles to go.
So Colton's moving a little fast. This elevation is starting to get to me. Gotta keep moving, but man. Sit down for like 2 minutes, please.
All right, so we've got about 2 hours till we get to our campsite. Jack's getting pretty tired. I don't necessarily blame him because it is a lot of elevation, but if we're out here when the sun goes down, it's when the bears become more active. We've got a sign.
Sign?
Yeah, we've got a sign. There we go. Old Man Lake Campground, 0.3 miles.
Cannot tell you how happy I am right now.
We've logged 6 long miles and gained a good 1,500 feet of elevation. Tonight, we're camping in a designated camping area.
To minimize impact, we'll keep our site small and away from vegetation.
First, we need to go hang our food and make sure that we don't bring anything that a bear could smell into our campsite. Do you have any other scented items?
I've got hand sanitizer, I've got suntan lotion.
Filling our bag and hoisting it high enough to keep bears away takes much longer than we expected.
Just chuck it. You did it?
No, oh no.
So it's been probably 25 minutes, and finally Colton's got it over the bar.
It's getting cold and dark as we pitch our tent.
Okay.
And we still have to filter some water.
Old Man Lake is our nearest source, and we're camped well away from it.
Colton and I are heading down to the lake to get some water, and we look up, and there are bighorn sheep all over the mountainside.
It's always important to observe wildlife from a distance, and right now, that's not a problem.
We have a 13-mile hike tomorrow, and we need our sleep. But as soon as I shut my eyes,
Dude, wake up. Wake up. What? There's some, I heard something outside. Dude, wake up. Wake up. What? There's some, I heard something outside.
we're in the backcountry of Glacier National Park, smack dab in the middle of grizzly and black bear territory. And it's clear we're not alone.
I don't know, I heard something, man. I'm not just making this up.
But after searching around our campsite for more than 10 minutes, we can't find anything. We learned later that we should have just stayed in our tent. There is no good reason to investigate in the dark.
There's nothing out here. I'm going back to bed.
I don't know. It's early. We are going to get up and head to Dawson and Pitamakan Pass. Finish that whoop.
Come here. Did you see this morning?
See what?
Now, I'm not positive, but this has been dug up. And what the bears normally do is they come through and they dig for roots. This is glacier lily, which is one of the roots they actually dig for. I didn't see this yesterday.
Are you kidding me? It's like 20 feet away from our tent.
We hung our food up in a tree, and then we wake up and see that there's a great sign. A bear might have been right outside of our campsite. Even if you take the proper precautions, you're still in the bear's home.
We're setting out to head higher into the Rocky Mountains. Our main goal is to make it to Dawson Pass and the Continental Divide, a good 4.5-mile hike.
You're bringing all your stuff with you. Just gotta make sure you pack it in and pack it out. Oh, look at this. Actually found somebody else's garbage, so anything you can do to kind of clean up really helps.
Starting off this morning, it's gonna be a pretty steep uphill climb. We've already made some ground.
It doesn't take long for us to get near the tree line, an elevation where almost nothing grows because of cold and lack of moisture.
We're going up this cliffside behind me, and then from up there, we kind of straddle this whole mountain range. Most animals stay well below this altitude, but up here, you may see an occasional chipmunk, or better yet, a mountain goat. There are over 1,500 mountain goats in the park. Living at this altitude, they're considered opportunistic eaters. They'll munch on whatever little grass bits, moss, or algae they can find. Coyotes are also known to roam above the tree line in this park. They hunt for small mammals and ground squirrels, and try to avoid the wolves.
We've made about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 mile up the switchbacks.
We've hit the base of our climb up to Pitamakan Pass. From here, we'll gain another 750 feet in just over a mile. It's not just the physical part we're battling.
We are going over some sketchy mountain passes. I have a little bit of a thing with heights. I don't like to admit it, but I do. I'm hoping the trail stays nice and wide, the wind isn't blowing too hard, and I don't have to face any dangerous steep cliffs.
But the reality is, that's what we've been told to expect. On this path, we have to watch every step.
The wind is blowing through the mountains, and basically it funnels it through the pass, and it just hits us, and it hits us hard.
On some days, the wind through here can even reach up to 100 miles per hour. And just when the wind is at its worst, we round the bend to Pitamakan Pass.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, dude, look at that. Oh. Be careful though, there's quite a ledge there.
Wow.
Cow. Makes it worth it.
Native Americans first trekked through here 10,000 years ago, and Pitamakan is named for a Blackfeet Indian woman warrior.
Is that Pitamakan Lake then?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it right down there. See how blue that water is?
You can kind of see that glaciers formed this U-shaped valley right here, but when you look out, today you don't see that many glaciers remaining.
Yeah.
A century ago, there were 150 glaciers in this park. Now, only 25 still exist.
The glaciers might be slowly receding and dying away, but what they leave behind, I have a feeling this is going to remain intact for a very long time. Onward and upward. Boy, is that an understatement.
We've got another 3 miles to Dawson Pass, and after hiking almost straight up over 7,500 feet, the trail has leveled off a bit. But at some points, the drop-off is 1,000 feet down.
Oh my gosh. Look at that, dude. Look how much you can see from up here.
It's a whole new world.
The wind is picking up again, and we've also found a rare sign of life.
So we stumbled upon a feather from what is called the ptarmigan, and it's a bird that lives up here in the upper elevations of the park. The ptarmigan is one of 270 species of birds in Glacier, and one of the few creatures to live so high up. They need to live by a permanent patch of snow. So as you can see, there's not much here right now.
This member of the grouse family relies on snow for water. In the winter, its feathers turn from brown to white to better hide itself from predators.
We've been told on this next stretch that backpackers have had to actually go on their hands and knees in order to keep themselves stable and not fly off this mountainside.
You've got some long, narrow, and jagged peaks. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the trail. Yeah, it's pretty intense. This is really what Glacier is. It's just this rugged, raw, insane landscape.
This part of the trail runs along a combination of steep cliff ledges and scree slopes, or areas of loose stones on the side of the mountain.
Man, this is looking pretty gnarly, I'll tell you that.
We're in Glacier National Park, battling gusty winds as we climb our way up more than 10 miles to some of the highest elevations in the park.
Over on the right, you've got Mount Stimson, which is one of 6 10,000-foot mountains here in Glacier National Park.
Every time we think we've seen the best view in the park, we turn a corner and there's a whole nother view.
After a 2-day journey up, over, and around jagged peaks and rocky cliffs, we finally made it to Dawson Pass.
Oh, man.
We're sitting on top of the Continental Divide. That means that water flowing west of here goes to rivers that make their way to the Pacific Ocean, while water on the east flows to the Gulf of Mexico.
We're at the center of everything. We started out at Old Man Lake, which you can see way down below us right now. In fact, I'm actually drinking water that we got out of Old Man Lake this morning.
Being able to go out and do something we've never done here before was just an incredible experience to have.
Having the chance to throw on a backpack with all your gear, all your food, and totally immerse yourself in nature, there's really nothing better than that.
When we were going up that first hill, I was wondering if I was even gonna make it. And then when we got up there, it was like, yeah, okay, this is why you're doing it. Look at the view, you know?
You've got these towering mountains, these epic valleys, and these raging rivers with tons and tons of wildlife.
This is the park that really showed me how nature can change your life.
It was not easy, but end of the day, it was well worth it. I'm ready for round 2.
And remember, if we can do it, so can you.
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park.